dawn and dusk, when the air is calm and crystal clear, the ocean's surface seems like an impenetrable expanse of water, giving no hint of the intense activity within. Yet, every morning and evening, all oceans and lakes host immense migrations. Billions of animals ascend from the depths to the surface. These movements, often forming dense layers, once fooled early sonar operators into thinking the seafloor was rising beneath them. This phenomenon, called vertical migration, is the largest synchronized animal movement on Earth. Marine biologists noticed in the 19th century that nighttime nets yielded greater catches, but its staggering scale became evident only with modern technologies like satellites and submersibles. Countless creatures, large and small, migrate daily in search of food in the photic zone, the sunlit upper 100 meters of water where microscopic plants drive the ocean's food chain. Below this, the abyssal darkness relies on organic material from above. Migration is triggered by changes in daylight, and animals move under the cover of darkness for safety. Their time near the surface is brief, usually lasting a few hours. The most frequent migrants are tiny crustaceans called copepods, alongside jellyfish, krill, squid, and fish. Smaller animals ascend slowly, covering about 1 meter per minute, while larger ones travel up to 200 meters per hour, with some journeys reaching 1,000 meters deeper. Dwelling species rarely migrate due to the time and effort required. Copepods use bristled or oar-shaped appendages to move in water 800 times denser than air, while jellyfish and salps rely on jet propulsion. Fragile gelatinous creatures like siphonophores adjust their buoyancy by altering gas and chemical composition. Vertical migration serves purposes like feeding and reproduction. Horizontal currents transport animals to new areas, while mixing at the surface increases their chances of finding mates and richer feeding grounds. Living in the depths helps avoid visual predators, though some, like sperm whales and sunfish, follow prey into the twilight zone. Many surface copepods descend in winter to evade predators and conserve energy, returning in spring to reproduce during abundance. These migrations profoundly influence marine ecosystems. Migrants consume vast amounts of plankton near the surface and transport nutrients to the depths, linking the ocean's surface and abyssal zones in a vital ecological cycle. The deep sea is often described as a world of eternal darkness, but this is misleading. While sunlight doesn't reach beyond 1,000 meters, the depths shimmer with countless bioluminescent lights. These glows, produced by deep-sea animals through a chemical process called bioluminescence, serve vital functions such as finding food, attracting mates, and defense. On land, bioluminescence is rare and limited to species like fireflies and certain fungi. In contrast, the oceans teem with luminous creatures. In some regions, up to 90% of animals caught in nets emit light. This prevalence reflects the ocean's open environment, where many creatures must use light to hunt, hide, or communicate. Marine species often rely on blue light, which travels farthest in seawater and is visible to most deep-sea animals. Some exceptions, like the dragonfish, use red light invisible to others, giving them an advantage in stalking prey. Many species, including fish, squid, and shrimp, use photophores, specialized light organs, to hunt or signal mates. These headlights can often retract, allowing the animals to vanish into the darkness. Bioluminescence is also key for defense. Twilight zone creatures use counterillumination, matching their light to faint sunlight above to blend in. Others, like jellyfish and shrimp, eject glowing chemicals to dazzle predators, while some, like the Atala jellyfish, create stunning light displays to attract larger predators to attack their assailants. Bioluminescence connects every ocean layer, shaping ecosystems and supporting marine life. It also holds value for human research, with bioluminescent chemicals aiding medical and genetic studies. These living lights are both a survival tool and a gateway to understanding the vast ocean, which comprises over 99% of our biosphere. Desmonema is a massive jellyfish with a bell measuring up to 1 meter in diameter and ribbon-like tentacles extending up to 5 meters. Jellyfish and ctenophores dominate the pelagic fauna of Antarctica in both number and diversity. Desmonema are able to capture and extracellularly digest their prey, which in turn speeds up their process of digestion. For example, squid and fish are larger prey that would need to be reduced to smaller particles for easier and more efficient digestion. The nematocysts on their tentacles and oral arms aid in capturing and digesting larger prey. Although it can fast for an entire year, the Clyone proves to be an agile and efficient hunter when resources are abundant. It feeds exclusively on other pelagic gastropods, which it extracts from their shells using large hooks and swallows whole, with rather uncivilized table manners. It swims by beating its two wings to move upwards or maintain itself at a constant depth. To keep itself upright during swimming, it uses two staticist gravity-sensing organs that correct it to an upright posture using its tail. It lives in the Arctic Ocean and cold regions of the North Atlantic Ocean. It was first described by Frideric Martens in 1676 and became the first gymnosomatous pteropod to be described. It is believed that the females of this eel-like shark carry their young for 3.5 years, a gestation nearly twice as long as that of elephants. They sometimes travel to underwater canyons near the surface to give birth. The frilled shark is considered a living fossil because of its primitive, anguilliform physical traits, such as a dark brown color, amphistyle, and a 2 meters long body, which has dorsal, pelvic, and anal fins located towards the tail. A cartilaginous skeleton and a large liver are the mechanical means with which the frilled shark controls and maintains its buoyancy in the deep waters of the ocean. The shark has an open, lateral line organ system featuring mechanoreceptor hair cells in grooves exposed to the ocean environment. Such a basal clade configuration enhances the frilled shark's perception and detection of changes in the movement, the vibration, and the pressure of the surrounding water. The ox-eyed oreo is a monotypic species of oreo found in oceanic deep waters. Although adults are more similar in shape to other oreos, the juveniles have a distinctive armor in their skin, which is spiked and probably makes them harder to eat for any hostile creature. Adults lack that plating, and, as other oreos, they have a protractile mouth and very large eyes, with small scales. This species grows to a length of 20 centimeters. The adults are deep-bodied and laterally compressed with a strongly humped back. They have a small head with large eyes. Due to living in frigid depths, the sleeper shark's liver oil does not contain squalene, which would solidify into a dense, non-buoyant mass. Instead, the low-density compounds in the shark's liver are diacylglycerol ethers and triacylglycerol, which maintain their fluidity even at the lowest temperatures. Also, they store very little urea in their skin, but like other elasmobranchs, have high concentrations of urea and trimethylamine oxide in their tissues as osmoprotectants and to increase their buoyancy. Because food is relatively scarce on the deep-sea floor, the sleeper shark is able to store food in its capacious stomach. The sleeper shark's jaws are able to produce a powerful bite due to their short and transverse shape. The upper jaw teeth of the sleeper shark are spike-like, while the lower jaw teeth are oblique cusps and overlapping bases. This arrangement allows grasping and sawing of food too large to swallow. Sperm whales are among the most cosmopolitan species. They prefer ice-free waters over 1,000 meters deep. They are capable of reaching depths of up to 3,000 meters where pressures can be immense. These dives can last up to 90 minutes, though the average dive is around 30 minutes. They have a unique physiological adaptation to deep-sea diving. They can store large amounts of oxygen in their muscles and blood, particularly in myoglobin in their muscles. This allows them to hold their breath for extended periods while diving. During deep dives, they experience bradycardia, a reduction in heart rate, which helps conserve oxygen. Their heart rate can drop dramatically during dives. One of the most distinctive features of sperm whales is the spermaceti organ, a large, oil-filled organ in their heads. This organ plays a key role in echolocation and buoyancy control. The spermaceti organ acts as a sound reflector, helping sperm whales emit high-frequency clicks that bounce off objects in their environment, allowing them to see in the dark depths. This helps them detect prey like giant squid and navigate the pitch-black depths. They have the largest brain of any animal on Earth, weighing about 7 to 9 kilograms. This brain size is thought to be associated with their high intelligence, which is crucial for their hunting techniques, complex social structures, and echolocation abilities. The deep-sea environment places immense pressure on all creatures, but sperm whales have evolved structural adaptations to withstand it. Their bones are dense and heavy, which helps counteract the buoyancy forces at such great depths. A particularly fascinating aspect of the sperm whale's diet is its dependence on the giant squid. The whale's echolocation ability is critical for hunting this elusive prey. They have scarred tissue on their heads and bodies from battles with giant squid, showing just how fierce and difficult these hunts can be. Some fjords in Norway are characterized by steep slopes that quickly drop out of the photic zone. As a result, many deep-sea species can be found there, such as the anemone Actinostela colosa and one of its favorite preys, the helmeted jellyfish Paraphila paraphila. This jellyfish thrives so well in the fjords that, over the course of 20 years, it has become the dominant predator, providing a feast for the anemones, which, with such an abundant prey source, have themselves become very widespread. Sponges are among the first creatures to have appeared on Earth. They have traversed the ages while maintaining a simple body plan consisting of 2 layers of slowly growing cells. The cells assemble into various shapes, never perfectly identical to each other. As is the case with the majority of the species in its genus, the mud-clump sponge contains chemical compounds which are of medical interest. These include several discarhabdins with anti-cancer properties. Additionally, an extracted tridiscarhabdin has been shown to exhibit highly cytotoxic activity against human colon cancer cells. The cookie-cutter shark is named for its unusual feeding method. It bites circular chunks out of its prey, leaving distinctive, cookie-shaped wounds. This feeding behavior is likely due to the shark's small size and inability to take large bites like bigger predators. It typically feeds on fish, squid, marine mammals, and even larger animals like whales. The circular bites are thought to be a strategy to extract small pieces of tissue without needing to overpower large prey. One of its most unique features is its ability to produce light. Its belly is bioluminescent, glowing in a greenish hue. This light can help the shark camouflage itself in the depths of the ocean, where light is scarce, and make it harder for predators and prey to spot it. The bioluminescence is believed to help the shark blend into the lighter water above it, effectively hiding from predators that might be below. Despite its small size, it has powerful jaws and sharp teeth that allow it to make deep circular bites. Its teeth are serrated, and its mouth is specialized for creating a smooth, circular wound in its prey. Interestingly, the cookie-cutter shark often hosts various parasites, including the parasitic copepod Spherion, which lives in its mouth. This relationship is an example of a host-parasite interaction, where the parasite benefits from living in the shark's oral cavity. Mackerel icefish has a maximum lifespan of 15 years and eats krill and mysids. They are in turn preyed on by seabirds, seals, and other notothents. This species practices daily vertical migration and is a schooling species. This species, which becomes reproductively mature at 3 to 4 years old, is a synchronous spawner and spawns in the southern hemisphere autumn and winter. Sexually mature males have a significantly higher dorsal fin than females. This species moves inshore to spawn. Females produce 10,000 to 20,000 large eggs that remain on the seabed for about 3 months before hatching. Malthopsis batfishes have a flattened head, although this is higher than the body and they have a long tail. The body disc is very triangular in shape with a widely based rostrum which is clearly pointed and long and which overhangs the mouth. The esca is an oval bulb with 2 small cirri on its upper edge. The scales resemble bucklers or simple spines. The buckler-like scales on the subopercle are typically wheel-developed and have some enlarged spines. There are 3 squarish or oblong patches of teeth on the vomer and palate and 2 closely set patches of teeth on the tongue. These fishes have small dorsal and anal fin which are located towards the rear of their bodies. The nautilus shell is a beautifully intricate spiral, made of calcium carbonate. This shell is divided into a series of chambers, which the nautilus can seal off as it grows. The shell is used by the nautilus for buoyancy control. By filling the chambers with gas and water, it can regulate its depth in the water column without expending much energy. Unlike most cephalopods, it has relatively simple eyes. It has no lens and instead uses a pinhole camera-like structure to focus light. This means its vision is quite blurry compared to other cephalopods like squids and octopuses, but it still allows the nautilus to sense light and dark, helping it navigate its environment. The nautilus's eyes are also believed to help it detect shadows and light changes, which helps it avoid predators and find prey in the dark, deep waters it inhabits. It moves slowly and gracefully, using jet propulsion to swim. It ejects water through a siphon to propel itself, but it is not as fast or as agile as its relatives like squid or octopuses. Instead, it uses its time in the ocean depths wisely, moving at a deliberate pace in search of food. Nautilus pompilius is sensitive to changes in oceanic conditions, particularly changes in temperature and acidity. As the oceans continue to warm and acidify due to climate change, the nautilus's delicate shell and buoyancy mechanism may become compromised. Silver chimeras are deep benthic and neritic predators, meaning that they primarily feed along the deep seafloor in the continental shelf. Their primary prey items are mollusks and crustaceans, though they also eat soft-bodied prey like jellyfish and sea squirts. Silver chimeras are prey for sharks and seals and are also occasionally eaten by other chimeras. They primarily hunt using electroreceptive organs called ampullae of Lorenzini, which can detect small electrical fields created by living creatures. These ampullae are mostly found on the snout and are particularly concentrated on the underside of the head, near the mouth. Silver chimeras also have a well-developed sense of smell, and they have adapted to have nasooral grooves on their skin connecting the nostrils to the mouth. This allows a near-constant flow of water to the olfactory system, allowing the silver chimera to constantly smell its surroundings. The Japanese spider crab is an omnivore, consuming both plant matter and animals. It also sometimes acts as a scavenger, consuming dead animals. Some have been known to scrape the ocean floor for plants and algae, while others pry open the shells of mollusks. Adults are found at depths between 50 and 600 meters. They like to inhabit vents and holes in the deeper parts of the ocean. The temperature preference of adults is unknown, but the species is regular at a depth of 300 meters in Suruga Bay, where the water generally is about 10 degrees Celsius. At the surface, tunicates, like sponges, filter water and retain the food particles that nourish them during this breathing process. At depth, a very particular tunicate can be found. In addition to being a filter feeder, it has increased its chances of feeding by becoming a predator. Its large mouth quickly closes around small shrimp and other crustaceans that wander into it, resembling the way a carnivorous plant captures insects. Once the predatory tunicate catches a meal, it keeps its trap shut until the animal inside is digested. They are known to live in the Monterey Canyon at depths of 200 to 1,000 meters. They mostly feed on zooplankton and tiny animals, and their bodies are roughly 13 centimeters across. Predatory tunicates are hermaphrodites, producing both eggs and sperm which drift into the water. If there are no other tunicates nearby, they can self-fertilize the eggs. When all of its arms are retracted and pulled into its body, this soft coral forms a perfectly round ball at the end of a massive stalk, giving it a mushroom-like appearance. Its colors range from white to red, with all shades of orange and pink in between. Some species of deep-sea sharks sometimes lay their eggs among the polyps. These contain a stinging toxin that protects the eggs from intruders. Atlantic football fish males are free-living and non-parasitic on the females. The males use their highly developed olfactory organs to detect females. Once they find a female, they attach themselves to her but do not fuse with her to become parasitic. The eggs and larvae are pelagic. The specialized teeth on the denticular bones are used to temporarily attach the male to the female. There is a record of a female with a scar on her skin that was probably caused by a male that became detached. At the depths at which these fishes live, it is dark and food is sparse and rarely encountered. The female have bioluminescent bacteria in their escas, and this is used to attract prey to within striking distance of the mouth. The prey is whatever they can fit into their mouths, and the backward curving teeth ensure that prey are unable to escape. Recorded prey includes fishes, squid, and crustaceans. Half-naked hatchetfish is a deep-sea hatchetfish of the genus Argyropelecus found mesopelagically in all oceans as well as in the Mediterranean Sea. It is a small species rarely exceeding 4 cm standard length. It feeds on zooplankton, particularly ostracods and copepods. Sexual maturation occurs at length of about 2 cm, and adult males have more developed olfactory organs than females, i.e., the species is sexually dimorphic. The eyes are large and oriented dorsally. They are tubular or telescopic, which are one of the specific characteristics of oceanic deep-sea fishes. Lens and pupil are very large, but the lens muscle is much reduced compared with that of shallow water fishes. The lenses of the eyes contain yellow pigments that absorb shortwave radiation. The proportions of the two carotenoid-like pigments present change as the fish grows older. It is not clear what precise function is served by the pigments, but with some of the incident illumination being absorbed, the fish's absolute sensitivity to light must be reduced. The crested oarfish has maximum length of 2 meters, but often are only found at 1 meter in length. It has an ink sac near the cloaca, and discharges ink out of it when it feels alarmed. Its prey consists of squids and fishes such as anchovies. It is oviparous, and lays planktonic eggs. Very little is known about the crested bandfish, although specimens have been reported to wash ashore following storms. Their scientific name is from Greek lophos, meaning crest, and refer to the crest that emerges from the snout and head. This structure gives them their other name of unicorn fishes. The Bathynomus genus is benthic and abundant in cold waters with a depth of 200 to 2,140 meters in the West Atlantic. It was the first species of Bathynomus to be described, and historically it was reported from other oceans, but these are now recognized as other closely related species. Its unusually large size has been attributed to an effect called deep-sea gigantism, where invertebrates living in cold deep waters tend to grow larger and have longer lifespans. As scavengers, it plays a crucial role in the deep-sea ecosystem. They feed on the remains of dead marine organisms that sink to the ocean floor, helping to recycle nutrients back into the ecosystem. This scavenging behavior is vital for maintaining the balance of deep-sea communities. The giant oarfish is the longest bony fish in the world, with some individuals reaching lengths of up to 11 meters. Though the average length is closer to 5 meters, it is typically found at depths ranging from 200 to 1,000 meters in deep ocean waters, making it a rare sight for researchers. They are not often encountered because they tend to remain in deep waters, but they sometimes surface, especially during storms. Despite their large size, they feed mainly on small organisms like plankton, jellyfish, and small fish. They have small mouths and are not predatory in the traditional sense, but they use their long bodies to filter small prey as they swim. There have been several reports of giant oarfish being found stranded on beaches, often after storms. These events have fueled myths and legends about sea serpents or omens, due to the fish's unusual appearance and its rarity near shore. It is part of the order Perciformes, but its evolutionary lineage goes back millions of years, making it one of the oldest and most primitive fish species still living today. Oilfish are a species of snake mackerel with a cosmopolitan distribution in tropical and temperate oceans. They can be found at depths from 100 to 800 meters, but most often between 200 and 400 meters. Oilfish can grow to a length of 3 meters, though most do not exceed 1.5 meters. Its meat is extremely oily, containing high lipid concentrations. Though edible, the oil mainly consists of wax esters, which makes the meat act as a laxative if consumed in large quantities. Japanese flapjack octopus is a small octopus. Its maximum size, measured from one arm tip to the opposite, is 20 centimeters. It has large eyes and small fins. Like other members of the cirrate octopus's subgroup, it has a fleshy web connecting its arms, a small internal shell to support its body, fins to help it swim, and small fleshy tendrils called cirri lining its arms. The octopus may have been named for its relatively flattened or depressed body shape. This octopus is very sexually dimorphic. In other words, males and females have noticeable differences. While females have a row of more or less uniform suckers lining each arm, males have a distinctive sucker arrangement. Males' suckers are very enlarged and crowded together, often with 2 or 3 side by side. Snailfishes have one pair of nostrils and a ventral suction disc but lack a pseudobranch. They are tadpole-like in shape and reach up to 50 centimeters in standard length. Like other snailfish, they lack scales and have a loose gelatinous skin. A few species are covered in prickly spines. Most species of Chiropractus are poorly known, but they feed on small animals. It is thought to be a mouth brooder, as the holotype, a male, was found to be carrying 2 developing eggs in his mouth. Gulper shark primarily inhabits deep oceanic waters, typically between 200 and 1,000 meters. It is found in temperate and tropical regions, particularly around the continental slopes and abyssal plains, making it a species rarely encountered by humans. The name, granulosus, refers to the granular texture of its skin. The shark's skin is covered with small, rough, tooth-like scales called denticles, which help reduce drag as the shark swims through the water, increasing its efficiency. Like many deep-sea sharks, gulper shark grows slowly and reaches sexual maturity at a relatively late age. This slow reproductive rate makes the species particularly vulnerable to overfishing and environmental changes. Due to its slow reproductive rate and deep-sea habitat, it is particularly vulnerable to overfishing. It is often caught as bycatch in deep-sea trawl fisheries targeting other species, and its populations have been negatively impacted by these fishing practices. The species is sometimes targeted for its fins, which are valuable in some cultures for shark fin soup. This contributes to the threat facing Centrophorus granulosus, as the demand for shark fins is a major driver of its population decline. The Japanese rough shark is a benthic species that occurs at a depth of 250 to 500 meters. This shark is caught as bycatch by bottom trawlers throughout its entire limited range, and may be threatened given the declines in other bottom deep-sea species in Suruga Bay. It is similar to other rough sharks in having a stout, high trunk, a dorsally depressed head, and 2 sail-like dorsal fins with deeply embedded spines. The mouth is small, with thick, fleshy lips. The teeth in the upper jaw are narrow, erect, and smooth-edged, while those in the lower jaw are broad, blade-like, and smooth-edged. Only 1 row of teeth in the lower jaw are functional. The large dorsal fins are subtriangular in shape, with the first dorsal spine sloping slightly backward. The pectoral fins have a convex front margin and a concave rear margin. There is a strong ridge running between the pectoral and pelvic fins on each side of the body. The dermal denticles are large and widely spaced, giving the skin a very rough texture. Frightened by the approach of predators, these eels leave the crevices they occupy on the peaks of a very recently emerged volcanic cone to the east of the Samoa Islands in the South Pacific. Until 1999, the Valiuliu underwater volcano, with its base at 5,000 meters deep and its summit 700 meters below the surface, had never even been mapped. Exploration dives revealed lava pillars covered with a yellow-orange microbial carpet, bathed in warm water emanating from the volcano. The site was named the City of Eels due to the extraordinary densities of slaughtered eels that were observed there for the first time in their natural habitat. These fish dwell at a depth range of 260 to 775 meters and are found off the continental slope. Males can reach a maximum total length of 37 centimeters. The orange sea pen feeds on plankton which it catches with the tentacles on its feathery plumes. It orients itself at right angles to the current and can relocate to a new location if it wishes. Breeding takes place when eggs and sperm are produced by the autozooids and expelled through the mouth into the water column. The planula larvae drift as part of the plankton before settling on the seabed and undergoing metamorphosis. The newly formed juveniles are the founding primary polyps of new colonies. Certain starfish prey on the orange sea pen. It reacts by emitting a flash of light and diving into the sand when contact is made by the leather star, sometimes behaves similarly when approached by the sunflower sea star and does not react defensively when touched by the ochre sea star. One of the most striking features of barbel dragonfish is its long, filamentous, bioluminescent barbel located on its chin. The barbel is equipped with light-producing organs called photophores. This light is used to attract prey in the pitch-dark depths of the ocean, particularly in the mesopelagic zone. It thrives in the aphotic zone where no sunlight penetrates, making its bioluminescent barbel essential for survival. It is a carnivorous predator. Its long barbel and sharp teeth help lure and capture prey. The barbel's glowing lure attracts smaller fish or invertebrates, which the fish then snaps up using its large mouth and sharp, backward-pointing teeth. It has an ambush predator style of hunting. It has highly specialized eyes adapted to its dark environment. While not much is known about its specific visual capabilities, it likely relies more on its bioluminescent barbel and other sensory adaptations to locate prey rather than eyesight alone. Like many other deep-sea fish, it lacks a swim bladder, which is often found in shallow-water fish to help with buoyancy. This is due to the high pressure in the deep ocean, where the swim bladder would be ineffective. Instead, the fish has adaptations that allow it to maintain buoyancy without the need for a swim bladder. The Japanese grenadier feeds on various marine invertebrates and vertebrates. They primarily target benthic crustaceans and polychaetes, but will still hunt teleost fish and certain cephalopod species. It has been shown that it will change its feeding behavior seasonally, and will rarely target more intimidating prey such as certain fish and cephalopods in colder climates. Its population distribution shows larger individuals normally disperse in deeper water, and younger fry populate shallower water. The species has been documented as an abundant bycatch by deep-sea trawling for both shrimp and lobster and is generally not considered for human consumption. Flower vase jewel squid has eyes that are different in size and oriented in different directions. The left eye is large, semi-tubular and points upwards, while the right eye is small and normal in shape, and points forward and downwards. The left eye is believed to detect animals higher in the water column, silhouetted against the sky, while the right eye detects animals in front of and below the squid. Other features of the genus include pairing of the reproductive organs in the male, the central line of light organs on the head having 3 photophores, and the basal line 8 photophores and 3 saw teeth. The photophores on the front half of the underside of the mantle are compound and evenly spaced, but there are no compound photophores on the tips of the 4th pair of arms. Pacific spookfish grows to a total length of roughly 130 centimeters, with a body length of roughly 62 centimeters. Female specimens are typically larger than males. It has a long, narrow snout and smooth tooth plates. The snout is elongated, and its length can be anywhere from 50 to 87% of the body length, ending at a blunted tip. One of its 2 dorsal fins is short in length but tall, while the other is lower and longer. Its caudal fin is long, and contains tentacles on its upper lobe. It has a brown upperside and a more grayish-brown underside, with a white snout. The edges of the fins tend to be darker in color, ranging from a dark brown to purple color. Specimens in the Northwest Pacific have been found to be considerably darker than ones in the Southwest Pacific. The inshore hagfish has 6 pairs of gill pouches and gill apertures. They live usually buried in the bottom mud and migrate into deeper water to spawn. The hagfish eye lacks a lens, extraocular muscles, and the 3 motor cranial nerves found in more complex vertebrates, which is significant to the study of the evolution of more complex eyes. It can exude copious quantities of a milky and fibrous slime or mucus from specialized slime glands. When released in seawater, the slime expands to 10,000 times its original size in 0.4 seconds. This slime that hagfish excrete has very thin fibers that make it more durable and retentive than the slime excreted by other animals. The fibers are made of proteins and also make the slime flexible. If they are caught by a predator, they can quickly release a large amount of slime to escape. Pacific black dragon is a barbelled dragonfish of the family Stomiidae, found circumglobally in southern subtropical and temperate oceans. The species is sexually dimorphic. Females are black with 6 stripes, males are brown, and lack the female's canine teeth, pelvic fins, and barbel. They can weigh between 13 to 15 grams. Females are believed to make a deal vertical migration from deeper than 500 meters by day to surface waters at night, whereas males do not migrate, remaining below 1,000 meters at all times. Length is up to 40 centimeters for the female, but only 5 centimeters for the male. Black dragonfishes are bioluminescent, but unlike most such predators, which use their light primarily to attract prey, they can see their own light. As a result, the fish can use their light to hunt. The light is nearly in the infrared and barely visible to the human eye. In the larval stage, the eyes of the larvae appear as long stalks that dangle out of the body.
Large fins, a tiny mouth, and a remarkable pair of eyes. The 2 green spheres in these video shots are the eyes are enclosed within a transparent shield, sort of like the canopy of a jet fighter. In front of the eyes are 2 forward to include its mouth in the field of view. We speculate that Macropina steals food.
Although observations of living goblin sharks are scant, its anatomy suggests its lifestyle is inactive and sluggish. Its skeleton is reduced and poorly calcified, the muscle blocks along its sides are weakly developed, and its fins are soft and small. Its long caudal fin, held at a low angle, is also typical of a slow-swimming shark. The long snout appears to have a sensory function, as it bears numerous ampullae of Lorenzini that can detect the weak electric fields produced by other animals. Due to the snout's softness, it is unlikely to be used for stirring up prey from the bottom as has been proposed. Vision seems to be less important than other senses, considering the relatively small optic tectum in the shark's brain. It is the only extant representative of the family Mitsucorinidae, a lineage some 125 million years old. This pink-skinned animal has a distinctive profile with an elongated, flat snout, and highly protrusible jaws containing prominent nail-like teeth. It is usually between 3 and 4 meters long when mature, though it can grow considerably larger, such as one captured in 2000 that is thought to have measured 6 meters. The triple-eared sea devil is a deep-sea anglerfish with a laterally compressed body, large head, and bioluminescent lure called an elysium, used to attract prey. Adult females are jet black with spiny skin, while juveniles are dark brown. They exhibit extreme sexual dimorphism, where small males attach to females permanently, fusing their tissues and becoming dependent on the female for nutrients. This adaptation increases reproductive success by ensuring proximity to a mate in the vast deep-sea environment. Despite this strategy, parasitism is rare, with only 6% of metamorphosed females hosting males. Females effectively function as self-fertilizing hermaphrodites, continuously supplied with sperm by their attached mates, making them uniquely adapted to their isolated habitat. The thorny whiplash squid is a large species of squid belonging to the family Chiroteuthidea. It is characterized by the tiny, pointed tubercules present on its skin and a Y-shaped groove in the funnel locking apparatus. The largest recorded specimen measured 78 centimeters in mantle length, although its original total length is unknown as it was missing the very delicate feeding tentacles. Little is known of Chiroteuthed reproduction. The distinctive Dorado-sized paralarvae are thought to remain within the first few hundred meters of the water column, where they likely feed on zooplankton and slowly undergo a marked transformation to subadults. The tripod spiderfish is now relatively well known from photographs and submersible observations, and seems to prefer to perch on the ooze using much elongated fin rays in the tail and two pelvic fins to stand, facing upstream with the pectoral fins turned forward so the outthrust projecting fin rays resemble multiple antennae, and are indeed used as tactile organs. The tripod fish uses tactile and mechanosensory cues to identify food. It apparently does not have special visual adaptations to help it find food in the low-light environment. When the fish is perched with its long rays on the ocean floor, it can get food without even seeing it. Its mouth ends up at just the right height to catch shrimp, tiny fish, and small crustaceans swimming by. They seem to prefer to perch on the mud using much elongated fin rays in their tails and two pelvic fins to stand, facing upstream into the current to ambush with the pectoral fins turned forward so the outthrust projecting fins resemble multiple antennae. The fish senses objects in the water with its front fins. These fins act like hands. Once they feel prey and realize it is edible, the fins knock the food into the fish's mouth. The fish faces into the current, waiting for prey to drift by. The Japanese sea lily is a filter feeder. It extends its arms towards the current, spreads its pinnules and gathers plankton and other particles floating past. These are transferred into the groove by its tube feet, wrapped in mucus and moved along the groove by the cilia that line it. If the Japanese sea lily is damaged, it can regenerate its arms and even the whole crown can be regenerated above the stalk. In favorable locations, there may be a dense bed of sea lilies and it may form part of a rich microhabitat with bivalve mollusks and brittle stars. Like other sea lilies, gametes are produced in specialized areas of the pinnules and liberated into the sea. After fertilization, the eggs hatch into barrel-shaped larvae that are planktonic for a few days before settling on the seabed, cementing themselves to hard surfaces, undergoing metamorphosis and developing into juvenile sea lilies. These worms feed on a type of methane-scented foam. When temperatures are low and pressure is high, methane can crystallize within a cage of water molecules, forming icy mounds known as methane hydrates. This phenomenon is fascinating in itself, but the 1997 discovery of polychaete worms carving patterns on their orange surface serves as a reminder that we have yet to uncover all of Earth's strange and wondrous phenomena. Fisher reported that experiments with live specimens showed that mature worms could survive in an anoxic environment for up to 96 hours. The worm has been found to be able to utilize a range of nitrogen, sulfur, and organic carbon compounds through microbial taxa. These taxa allow the worm to take advantage of the harsh environment by allowing it to feed and gain nutrition through organic compounds that are found in the methane clathrate deposits. The black swallower is a small deep-sea fish, typically 15 to 20 centimeters long. It has a slender, compressed body with dark brownish-black coloration, a prominent lower jaw, and sharp, interlocking teeth. Its unique dentition includes mobile fangs that help grip and chew prey. The fish has long pectoral fins, 2 dorsal fins, and a forked caudal fin, with its lateral line marked by double pores per segment. The black swallower feeds on bony fish and cephalopods, which it swallows whole thanks to its highly digestible stomach. It can consume prey over twice its length and 10 times its mass by using articulated jaws that swing downward to engulf large items. Prey is typically seized by the tail, and the swallower walks its jaws forward until the entire meal is inside its stomach. Sometimes, the black swallower's prey is so large that it begins to decompose before digestion is complete, releasing gases that force the fish to the ocean's surface, where specimens are often found. This jellyfish, very common at all depths of the Monterey Canyon, is unique among cnidarians in that it actively hunts for prey as opposed to passively waiting for plankton to pass by. They grow to be 20 centimeters in diameter. These hydrozoans feed on gelatinous zooplankton, including salps and doliolids, ctenophores, jellyfish and copepods. However, salmices may be limited to feeding on soft-bodied prey by the type of nematocysts on their tentacles. Flabby whalefishes undergo dramatic transformations as they mature. Juveniles, males, and females each have distinct body forms that look like entirely different species. Juveniles, often called tape-tails, have long tail streamers, while males and females develop strikingly different morphologies as adults. Adult females have enormous mouths and highly elastic stomachs, allowing them to swallow prey much larger than their head size. Unlike females, adult males lose their feeding structures as they mature. They rely solely on energy reserves accumulated during their juvenile stage and focus entirely on reproduction, using their well-developed olfactory organs to locate females. They are perfectly suited to life in the deep ocean. Their soft, gelatinous bodies help them conserve energy, and their coloration, usually red or orange, renders them nearly invisible in the dim light of the deep sea. Their skeletons are lightly calcified, and they have reduced musculature, making their bodies flabby. This adaptation minimizes energy expenditure in the nutrient-poor environment of the deep sea. Spotted gelatinous cusk are viviparous deep-sea fish. Based on the stable oxygen isotope composition of otoliths, it has a pelagic larval stage, followed by an ontogenetic vertical migration to deeper waters. The males bundle their sperm into small sacs, so that they can be stored for extended periods. This allows them to mate with immature females, which can then store the sperm inside the ovaries until they reach sexual maturity, and the eggs are ready to be fertilized. This unusual adaptation is likely a response to the difficulty of finding a mate in their dark and sparsely inhabited deep-sea environment. Mastigotuthis cycrophila is a species of whiplash squid. It was first described by Kir Nazimovic Nisis in 1977, based on 4 individuals found in Antarctic waters. The largest was 14 centimeters long. The squid's tentacles are 15 millimeters in diameter, with 0.15 millimeters diameter club suckers. Integumental photophores are present upon the head, arms, and fins. Although uncertain, it is believed to have more than 2 series of photophores on the arms, differing from other species in the M. agassizii group. However, this species, like the rest of the family, is badly in need of revision. The Venus flower basket is a deep-sea glass sponge with a cylindrical, vase-shaped body composed of intricate silica spicules forming a 6-point lattice. These spicules not only provide structural support but also reduce drag and promote water flow, enhancing feeding and reproduction through internal fluid dynamics. Found in benthic habitats between 100 to 1,000 meters deep, particularly in the western Pacific, these sponges anchor in soft sediments and support symbiotic relationships with shrimp that live within their lattice. The sponge may use bioluminescence to attract plankton, aiding in its filter feeding strategy. Its unique skeletal structure contributes to ecological functions such as carbon cycling and providing habitat for other organisms. Historically, similar hexactinellid sponges formed extensive deep-sea reefs, many of which thrived during the Jurassic period. Recent studies suggest that the sponge's resistance to alkali points to the presence of biomaterials like chitin, making it a potential candidate for biotechnological and biomedical applications. Calyptogena magnifica is a bivalve adapted to hydrothermal vent ecosystems, relying on chemosymbiotic bacteria in its gills to oxidize hydrogen sulfide and provide nutrients, as it lacks a digestive system. Its divided foot allows it to burrow into hard substrates or among mussels, often taking a vertical position on the sea floor. Reproduction involves large yolked oocytes, and despite initial assumptions of poor dispersal, our DNA studies reveal that its larvae can migrate to other vent sites, ensuring species survival as vents open and close. This clam thrives in rich benthic communities near thermal vents, coexisting with mussels, crabs, shrimps, and octopuses. Empty shells at vent sites highlight the transitory nature of these ecosystems due to the eventual cessation of vent activity. The European anglerfish, typically 40 to 60 centimeters long, grows larger at greater depths, with some specimens exceeding this range. Its broad, flat head and wide mouth are equipped with sharp, inward-tilting teeth that prevent prey escape. It camouflages effectively with fringed, seaweed-like skin appendages and uses its modified dorsal spine filaments as a lure to attract prey, which it can swallow whole thanks to its expandable stomach. Juveniles primarily eat invertebrates, while adults target fish, cephalopods, and occasionally waterbirds. During spawning, females produce gelatinous egg sheets up to 9 meters long, containing millions of eggs that float near the surface to aid dispersal. Males mature at 4 years, females at 6, with peak spawning occurring in spring and a smaller secondary season in late fall. Found at depths of up to 1,000 meters, the anglerfish inhabits sandy, muddy, and occasionally rocky seafloors.